A Missouri pastor that received heavy criticism after claiming that autism is caused by demons, demonic possession, because God doesn't make mistakes, decided to double down after the backlash. Now, first, I'm going to show you a video of his statements provided by the Friendly Atheist, and then we're going to get to the backlash, and then we're going to get to his double down. Take a look.
Someone has a physical infirmity and you cast that demon out, you might have to pray for some things to be fixed. Let's talk about one. Let's talk about autism. Rick, did you just go there? Yeah. Like, I know a minister who has seen lots of kids that are autistic, that he cast that demon out and they were healed, and then he had to pray and their brain was rewired and they were fixed. Yeah, I just went there. I mean, you can get online and see lots of examples of it. If it's not demonic, then we have to say God made them that way. Like, that's the only other explanation. Why is my kid have autism? Well, either the devil's attacked them, he's brought this infirmity upon them, he's got them where he wants them, and or God just doesn't like them very much and he made them that way. Well, my God doesn't make junk. God doesn't make mess-ups. God doesn't make people that way. So let's quit being nice and putting a Band-Aid on stuff and giving it medicine.
So that was Pastor Rick Morrow of Beulah Church in Richland, Missouri. And that was a Wednesday sermon. So obviously, I'm going to get right to it, okay? Everything that he said is completely wrong. I'm pretty sure you know that. Autism, not caused by demons. You can't cure it through prayer. You can't cure it. There's no thing to cure, okay? Do you know what he's actually doing, though, in promoting this ridiculousness? Well, number one, he is causing these kids harm. And again, he's talking about children with autism. So you know that there's a coping mechanism that a lot of people with autism do to get through daily life. It's called masking. For those who are not familiar with the term, masking is exactly what it sounds like. It's a method used by people who have autism to hide their symptoms in an effort to be perceived as quote-unquote normal or neurotypical, whatever the term that you'd like to use. Masking is harmful to people with autism. But if you're in an environment, and if you're unlucky enough to be in an environment with someone like this dude, you're going to think, oh my God, I'm infested with demons. I'm filled with demons. So the things that I do are demonic, and it just means I'm going to hell or something. No. So, of course, if you're in that situation, you're going to go into pretending that you're not dealing with autism, that it's just some battle inside you for good and evil, right? That's terrible for somebody's mental health. Look, an experience from someone dealing with autism was published in Neuroclastic 2021. So this was an article from someone who titled it "Autism and Religion, a Silent Anxiety." And they really explained what they dealt with being an autistic person going to church. In it, the author explains that hearing that hurting others is a sin put him in a constant state of shame every time he made a mistake. So, look, when neurotypical people make a mistake, they just kind of like, oh, oops, sorry. You learn from it, you move on, right? But sometimes for some people with autism, they take things very literally. And it's one of those situations where, you know, even the smallest mistake can cause a huge amount of grief, shame, anxiety, worry, etc. All this stuff. And so it can really have a massive effect on people who are, you know, dealing with having autism. And so this person noted that the fear of eternal damnation gave him just horrible, debilitating anxiety. So this pastor is absolutely harming people with autism and deserves all the blowback, all the backlash that he's been getting. And by the way, that's just aside from, of course, peddling, you know, pseudoscience, non-scientific, I should say, just junk. And that's what it is. Now, this guy talks about junk, No. What he's peddling is junk. That's it. No, you can't pray away autism. That's not how it works. Okay. So now I'm going to share some of the backlash that he has received. One person, Samantha Jaramillo, a mother who operates the Autism and You page on Facebook, called Morrow a quote-unquote false prophet and said his words were an attack on the special needs community. What Pastor Rick Morrow said was not only ignorant, it was dangerous, said Jaramillo, who has a child with autism. A Richland mother, Mia Daughtery, said she had hoped that no one on the autism spectrum had to listen to Morrow's sermon. Quote, I'll never think that me and my children or others that I know and love who have autism are demonic, she said in a Facebook post. They were made exactly how they were meant to be made. This is not preaching love. I am so sad listening to this. I'll never step foot in this church again. So look, there were actually a lot of people who were religious, that were pushing back on this. And actually, I really love to see that. I think that's an excellent thing. It shows how there are people in the community that care so much about their autistic children and are basically saying, no, what you're saying is absolutely wrong. We're going to push back against that. We love our children. We love children with autism. We love people with autism. Leave them alone. They are not demonic. They are just human beings. And that's it. Human beings. Now, that said, one conversation with a Missouri mother that she had with Mr. Morrow ended up even going the route of him claiming that children who have Down syndrome they had the condition because of demonic infestation. Again, absolute insanity. Just insanity. There's more. On the church's Facebook page, commenters called for Morrow's removal as pastor. Others said his words were disgusting and horrible. Quote, are you serious, Rick? I have 2 autistic kids, and my God made them the way he wanted. Brandy West Jones commented, I can't even believe that you were preaching on that. Now, here's the thing. While I think it's great for people who are religious to push back on this, there's been a long history of religion having a terrible relationship with mental illness. Look, this is one of the examples of that, but there are plenty of others. There are some religious people who are not in leadership, by the way, who have seen these disorders as the work of the devil or a punishment from God onto an individual or family because of some perceived sinfulness or lack of morality. And in the bad old days with mental health, and it really wasn't that too long ago that people who were dealing with this, with these situations that are dealing with autism or some sort of neurodivergent, thing, they would get locked away. They would get hidden from view. They would get put in asylums. They would be left to die because they were considered to be an embarrassment or an example of some sort of impropriety by the family that caused this to happen. That's where this kind of ignorance that Pastor Rick Morrow is pushing, that's where it leads to. Ableism has been in a very huge part of religion, and not just of religion, but unfortunately in society in general. Thankfully, that is starting to change because we do see that pushback, and it's because of the efforts of people who, are allies or people who are autistic themselves coming out and sharing what it's like and what they need and what it means. Look, at the end of the day, they're not sinful people. They're not evil. They're not broken. They're just different. That's it. And being different is fine. Being different is okay. A diversity is a strength, and it leads to understanding. Now, there's more. Morrow also happened to be a member of the Stoutland School Board of Education. So he was a board member. So immediately when I read that, I felt horrible for any special needs student that had been in that district because I worry that for as long as he was there, he would not have been treated fairly. That said, he's no longer there. He resigned on Tuesday of this week following a Change.org petition to have him fired from that position. Stoughton Schools put out a statement saying that Morrow's comments do not speak for the Board of Education as a whole, nor the district itself. And so there's that. Again, it's a rather large statement from them, and I'll link that into the description here of the video. But get this, okay? On Sunday, he kind of went, well, I'm going to clarify, okay? I'm going to clarify. Speaking to his congregation, Morrow said that children with autism are not junk. Rather, the disorder. The disorder is junk. Quote, I've been told that autism is a blessing from God. I have been told that I'm the evil one. But you know what? If I was to stand up here and say cancer is junk, people would agree. If I were to stand up here and say addiction is junk, people would agree. Yeah, but that's not what you said. You didn't say the affliction was junk. You said that autistic children were filled with demons. Okay? That's what you said.
It's the devil, okay?
They got the devil in them. Which means they're evil. And you got to get the devil out. I mean, he said that God doesn't make mess ups. Well, why would you refer to autistic people as mess ups? As junk? No. It's a pretty weak backpedal. And again, there was also the double down and saying, well, I said the right thing. I just didn't, you just took it wrong. That's what it is. No, because he still doesn't understand what he did wrong. It is the dehumanization of people that deal with autism that he doesn't understand. That and the fact that he thinks that they need to be cured. Neurodivergent people do not need to be fixed, okay? Especially with Jesus. Because that's essentially what he says. You just need Jesus. That's all you need. You need God in your life. And then you'll mask. That's essentially what it comes down to. What we need, though, is actually to accept people as they are. We need to have a society that is more open and welcoming and accepting to people who are neurodivergent. Because neurodivergent people have always existed. They always will exist. And they deserve understanding, support, opportunity, so that they can, again, the goal here is to have people live good lives, good, happy lives, and to have everybody be able to live up to their own potential. That's really it. But again, when you harm people like this by putting out these stereotypes, by basically saying that these children, that there's something evil wrong with them, and they might take it as, it's their parents' fault or it's their own fault. They'll internalize it. Somehow I got myself infected with demons. No, that doesn't help at all. That doesn't help any matters. It just makes things worse. And once again, this is what Mr. Rick Morrow will never seem to understand.